All right, so you want to play the blame game on a Monday? Let's do so and blame the head coach.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We got ourselves an overreaction Monday. Welcome in, everybody. Matt Derry with you, Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today is Monday, September the 8th, and a Tuesday, September the 9th. Thanks for making us your first listen. Actually, today is, wait a minute, did I have the date right? Yes, today is Monday, September 8th, into Tuesday, September 9th. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you to our everydayers that are out there that watch on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel or listen wherever it is you get your podcast. We appreciate all of you that are with us daily on the show. Don't forget, follow us, like us on Instagram at Locked On Lions, TikTok page at Locked On Lions as well. Lions get slaughtered yesterday in Green Bay, 27-13. If you missed yesterday's post-game podcast, please go back and check it out as we did a Sunday show. We're going to do Sunday shows for you or every week when the Lions play on Sundays. If there's a Monday night game against, like there is next week with the Ravens, we'll do the show post-game, everything else. But we're here for you and to give you the best content possible. Tomorrow, Robert Porcher, yes, Lions legend, going into the Pride of the Lions Hall of Fame this weekend at Ford Field. Big number 91 is going to join us tomorrow on the show. It's been a long time since I've talked to Rob, but it'd be great to have him on tomorrow. Talk about the current team, some memories of the past as well. Thursday, we'll do the crossover with Locked On Bears host Lauren Cox. Touchdown Bears tonight. The Bears host the Vikings for Monday Night Football, so a short work week for Benedict, as Ben Johnson will return to the corner of Brush and Adams next Sunday. Locked On Lions today brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. All right, a lot to get to today. All right, I want to reset some things that I saw from yesterday, and after watching the tape, we got to give you the Pro Football Focus grades, the PFF grades, which we do after every game. Top 5 Lions on offense, bottom 5 Lions on offense, top 5 Lions on defense, bottom 5 graded out players on the defense. We will give you those numbers as well. Some ugly ones for sure. What's got to change for Sunday? Dan Campbell touched on it today. And look, the bottom line is the Lions laid an egg in their first game. Nobody goes unscathed. Nobody. Maybe Isaac Tesla. The kid played 3 snaps and he made an unbelievable catch in the end zone during garbage time in the fourth quarter. But regardless, if you had Isaac Tesla catching the Lions' first touchdown pass, scoring the Lions' only touchdown in week 1, hey, congratulations. You can cash that ticket. But a lot to get into. Detroit and Chicago again on Sunday, as I mentioned, at 1:00. Couple of things. Let's start with this. The biggest finger pointing that I'm seeing out there from the fans and from everything else, and even from some members of the media after the Lions got thrashed yesterday by the Packers, is people are already starting to question offensive coordinator John Morton. And look, for many of the experts and for many of the know-it-alls out there, they weren't wrong in saying that there was going to take some time for the Lions to adjust from going from Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn on both sides of the ball as top coordinators to John Morton and Calvin Shepard. Nobody did a good job yesterday. I want to repeat this. Nobody, all right? John Morton should get some blame for how the Lions performed yesterday, all right? The offense wasn't good. I went back and watched some of the plays, some of the play calls, some of the formations. There were instances where Lions receivers were all lined up 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, all waiting for Jared Goff to throw them the ball. All right, there were instances where players were on top of each other running routes. All right, nobody seemed to run a deep route all day. All right, so yes, the play calling was jumbled. Yes, it was John Morton's first game up in the booth for the Lions. I'm not panicking yet and saying fire him after one game. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. This offense did not work together on a football field other than in joint practices the entire month of August. They got no preseason. They elected their choice, right? Dan Campbell's choice. They elected to take the first stringers and work out no cobwebs, work out no kinks. They went out there in Green Bay yesterday and they stunk. But to already say, oh, the Lions miss Ben Johnson so bad. And tonight, look, the Bears could light up the scoreboard against the Vikings. And Johnson could run a double reverse pass, and maybe the left tackle's out in the flat catching a ball. We're going to go, oh, see where we're missing? See where we're Pump the brakes here. It's one game. The Lions were horrible yesterday. They were horrible. But I'm not ready to give up on John Morton. I didn't love the hire to begin with. All right? I was all for Tanner Engstrand being moved up. And if you watch the Jets offense yesterday, Engstrand did a nice job as OC for Justin Fields. But I'm not ready to call this a 12-round knockout, an 8-round knockout, a 6-round knockout, a majority decision. John Morton sucks. I'm not ready to do that yet. You've got to give him some time. Dan Campbell at his Monday press conference today said, we're not going to know about our team, and you don't really judge a team until like 4, 5, 6 games in. We know the talent that is on this team. We know how good Green Bay played. They were fantastic. They were flying around. They were, really, really excited and juiced up when Micah Parsons was introduced last. He came out on the field on that first third down. The crowd got into it. They had more energy. They played with more spunk. They played with more gusto. They played with more effort yesterday than the Lions did. Lions got punched in the mouth at 7-0 right out of the chute and never responded. And I'm talking all three phases. Rewatching the game and watching the kick returns. I mean, here's Jacob Sailors, who was activated off the practice squad and elevated right before the game, returning kicks with Grant Stewart, which I still don't understand. And they're just smashing into each other. Sailors is running right into people at the 20-yard line. Kick coverage was bad. Kick return was bad. The Jake Bates had a couple of field goals. There you go. That was at least positive. Everything was bad yesterday. Everything. They looked unprepared and not ready. Now the hope is they come home Sunday and it's a much different result. But I'm not ready to chuck John Morton, into the berm on I-94 and call it a day and, let's go back. I'd get somebody else. Time will tell. We'll know. All right. You went from Ben Johnson, who was named the offensive coordinator, the assistant coach of the year last year. He's excellent. All right. To Mr. Morton, who was a part of the staff years ago, but it was not a good performance from anybody. But again, you could dial up every great play in the books, every trick play in the books. If your offensive line cannot get it done, and they're not blocking, and you can't run the football to set up your play action pass game and give Jared Goff time, it's going to be a long day, regardless who's calling the plays. I don't care if it's Don Shula, Mike Shula, the general manager of Shula's Steakhouse. Is that still a thing? I don't think it is. At least not around here. It's not going to work. And Dan Campbell deserves the most blame. They were ill-prepared yesterday, and he said it today. Campbell admitted he didn't have them ready to go. He bit the bullet today. He sat on the sword, whatever you want to say, but it was not a good performance. How did the Lions rate from PFF? Some more from Dan Campbell. A lot to get into today on this Overreaction Monday. Yes, the sky's falling. The Lions are terrible. Please stop. It's a long season. We knew they weren't going to win 15 games again. We knew how good Green Bay was going to be. That's a good football team. They got good players. And they kicked the Lions' ass. They did. But the Lions have 16 games to respond. And I think they will do that. More coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions. More of what Dan Campbell had to say next. Oh, we love this. Locked On Lions brought to you again by our friends at PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day on everything. But on PrizePicks, you be right and you can cash in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections. And you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. Tonight, Monday Night Football from Chicago. Yes, Bears and Vikings. Do the thing with Justin Jefferson, man. What about Aaron Jones? What about Mike Jones? What about DeAndre Swift, Rome Odunze? Do we think that Caleb Williams could have more or less than 250 yards passing tonight? Check it out on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. And a Locked On Lions today also brought to you by our friends at Upside. Man, if I could just find our beautiful overlay. Here it is. Upside. Yes, Locked On Lions fans. Still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up your tank with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use the limited time promo code touchdown and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already needed. First, I thought it was too good to be true, and really, it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. This is a Motor City. We're all driving. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or even an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code touchdown for limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code touchdown. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Matt Derry back with you on a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Robert Porcher tomorrow, Lauren Cox, Locked On Bears coming up on Thursday for the crossover. Lions and Bears coming to you from Ford Field, the home opener Sunday at 1 o'clock on Fox. I've not seen who the broadcasters are yet for the game, but just thank goodness it's not Tony Romo, right? I couldn't handle him yesterday. My goodness gracious. All right, so Dan Campbell today, as I told you before, is taking the blame for the Lions' performance yesterday. He did not like his own performance in terms of what the team was doing. Campbell said today, quote, "We had a lot of missed assignments. So that tells me that we had too much on their plate, which is my fault. Fundamentals were also an issue," according to Campbell. Quote, "Because it really is that simple. Nothing is easy about fixing it, but it's that simple to diagnose." He said he put a lot of young players in bad positions yesterday. Remember, there was the play the Lions had. It was like 2nd and long from their own 1-yard line. And Goff handed the ball to David Montgomery, and Tate Ratledge just completely went the other way and didn't block Wyatt, the big nose tackle. And Montgomery almost got tackled for a safety. So maybe Campbell is referring to putting young players in positions that they were not ready for. And he takes the blame for that. And let me tell you something. I love that about the head coach. Dan Campbell doesn't shy away from answering questions. He doesn't shy away from taking the blame, for taking responsibility. You love that about the head coach. And I have faith that this thing will get turned around. I have faith that this is just one loss because of him. I think the guys respond to him. I think he's going to be a little edgy this week in practice. And I think he'll have this team focused again. But, you know, he kind of took the blame for what took place yesterday. They got outcoached. There's no question about it. Jeff Hafley is like the new hotness to be a head coach, first time head coach next year, because of what he did with that Packers defense yesterday. Matt LaFleur and some of the things they diagrammed. The Lions just looked like they were in quicksand all day. Couldn't get to the quarterback, couldn't run the football. What was Campbell doing at the end of the first half yesterday with the timeouts? Packers are deep in their own territory. Lions get a stop. And even Tony Romo, in between yucking it up with Jim Nantz, Jim was like, take a timeout, take a timeout. It's third down, take a timeout. Then the Lions took the timeout after the play was over and only had 20 seconds left. Then they punt the football, and Khalif Raymond is running around, taking up time, going backwards. And so then they took a knee, and that was the end of the half. Like, what was that? They went into halftime with 2 timeouts in their back pocket. Stupid. That was poor coaching. So hopefully all of this gets ironed out this week. All right. I promised you the PFF grades. Our friends at Pro Football Focus, after each and every game, do hand out grades, of course, for every player that hit the field. Now, I'm going to say that you had to play at least a minimum of 10 snaps, because Isaac Tesla played 3 snaps and had a 96.2 grade, but that doesn't count. He played 3 snaps. So here are the top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers on offense and defense from this past weekend and the loss to Green Bay. Coming in at number 5 is Jahmyr Gibbs at a 62.2 grade on offense. 4th highest, David Montgomery, 67.8. 3rd highest, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 69.8. Sam Laporta had a pretty good game yesterday, 70.6. And the highest graded Lion on offense, Penei Sewell, 70.8. As far as bottom 5 on offense, 5th lowest, Christian Mahogany, left guard, 54.4. J-Mo, 53.7. Brock Wright had a 50.5 grade on 24 snaps. Jared Goff, 2nd worst grade on the team on offense, 45.5. And the lowest graded player on the offense, not a surprise. I told you yesterday how bad he was. Graham Glasgow, Lions center, 43.6. Go back and watch the tape and watch how many times Graham Glasgow is like this. He's looking around. Where am I going? Whiffing on blocks, missing linebackers coming in. It was a bad performance. And let me tell you something. And I said this yesterday, and I'll repeat myself. The Lions had a top 2 center in the league in Frank Ragnow. I truly believe Creed Humphrey, the Chiefs, is the best center in the game. There's other good ones, Linderbaum and some others. There's good centers. All right. My guy in Philly who took over for Kelsey, Cam Jurgens. There are good centers in this league. All right. Graham Glasgow yesterday was putrid. He just was. Every time I watched him, he just wasn't hitting anybody. All right. Defensively, who are the best performers for the Lions? Again, Al-Qadim Muhammad only played 7 snaps. He had an 85.2, but I'm not counting him. Got to play at least 10 snaps. 5th highest graded Lions player defensively, Derek Barnes, 69.1. Amik Robertson, 4th highest, 70.7. Gaines Media poster boy, Alex Anzalone, 70.9. Aiden Hutchinson, 72.0. I got to be honest with you. And you know I'm a PFF backer. I love Pro Football Focus. That's too high of a score for Aiden Hutchinson. He didn't do anything yesterday. I don't see that. I know they love Hutch at PFF. I don't see it. Brian Branch, 85.1, highest graded Lion on defense. As far as the lowest graded Lions defensively, 5th lowest grade was Patrick O'Connor at a 57.1. Marcus Davenport, never heard his name yesterday, 55.1. DJ Reader, 50.8, 3rd lowest. Tyleek Williams in his NFL debut, just a grade of 48.7. Although I watched him against the run, and he was not as bad as they say. And then the lowest scored Lion on defense and the lowest graded Lion really of the entire team is DJ Reed. Newest cornerback, big signing, just a 38 grade, 38.0. There you have it. Not a pretty day. Not a pretty performance by any stretch of the imagination. Green Bay wins the football game, and the Lions have a lot of work to do. As far as injuries are concerned, Jamarco Jones, the big tackle who was inactive yesterday, Dan Campbell said today he's going to be lost for the year. So right now, really, your backup tackles, Giovanni Manu on the active roster, Dan Skipper on practice squad. Skipper likely will be elevated this week. But the Lions have got to find another tackle out there in the marketplace if Jones is lost for the year, but that's what Dan Campbell said. And Terrion Arnold, they believe it's not serious with the groin injury, and they'll see this week how he's feeling. Terrion had a rough start to the game yesterday. It got better, but again, Packers Jordan Love had all day to throw. His jersey never really got dirty. No sacks. I think only 5 pressures, according to the advanced stats. Flush that one. Flush it. Now you come home. Dan Campbell said it today. We got to win this week. And he said we're going to win this week. We're going to find a way. He's being confident. You cannot be 0-2 going into Baltimore to play Monday Night Football against the Ravens. And that game last night, the Sunday night game, Ravens-Bills, was unreal. Unreal. John Harbaugh blows another game. But let me tell you something. Baltimore's loaded. Loaded. Those were two heavyweights last night, man. Those were 2 really, really good football teams. Very good teams. All right, coming up next, what's got to change for Sunday? And what should the Lions look for tonight when you're watching the game? What should the fans look for tonight when watching the Bears? I'll tell you. That's next. All right, Locked On Lions for today. We told you, brought to you by the Game Time app. Who wants to go to the home opener this Sunday? Season's here. Honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your Lions. But let's be honest, trying to get tickets for Sunday is going to be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, prices jumping at checkout, it can get frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see on your screen is the price you pay. All right. I pulled up Game Time, just a couple of taps. I saw amazing deals I'm talking about for Lions Bears this Sunday. Not bad at all. Prices have come down a little bit. So check it out on the app. Zone deals as well are great. Pick the section. Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, so Monday Night Football tonight does involve the Lions' next opponent, so they'll get a little bit of a scheduling break here because Chicago will have a short work week. Bears are at home at Soldier Field tonight for the start of the Ben Johnson era. People in Chicago are just absolutely amped up for this game, and it's a division game for them, as we will see the debut and the starting debut of former Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings. First things first, before we even discuss what to watch with the Bears and what we'll keep an eye on for tonight. Bottom line on Sunday against Chicago, no matter what takes place tonight with the Bears, is the Lions have got to find a way of getting back to running the football with success. That just opens up everything. Lions had less than 50 yards rushing yesterday. All right. That opens up everything for this offense. All right. Yes, they got to protect Jared Goff. Yes, Goff has got to move a little bit more than he did yesterday. Sure, John Morton has got to start calling some things that are a little bit more creative. I think the spacing was terrible down the field yesterday for the receivers and tight ends. With that being said, all right, the Bears have a good run defense. The Bears are improved up front. We'll see if the Vikings can run the ball at Soldier Field tonight, but that's what the Lions have got to do this coming Sunday. Run the ball, manage the clock, and yesterday the Lions were fine in terms of time of possession. It seems like they had the football a long time, but it's because they couldn't run the football on 1st and 10. And then you got into these second down situations. Actually, they couldn't complete passes on 1st and 10. And it got them into these second and long situations where they just couldn't run because the Packers were stacking the box. And I got news for you. That middle linebacker for the Packers yesterday, Edgerrin Cooper, while his PFF grade was like high 70s, that dude was everywhere. He was phenomenal and played really, really well. Tate Ratledge admitted after the game that he just didn't feel like he performed at the level that he should be at. You know, Glasgow feels the same. Graham is a 33-year-old veteran. He knows he can play better, right? All the guys up front have got to do a better job, and they've got to run the ball against the Bears. I'm excited to watch Chicago tonight. I'm intrigued by what Ben Johnson's going to do with Caleb Williams. And can Caleb Williams, all right, who's been hyped up for numerous years, going back at his time at USC, can he make that jump? Johnson can cook up anything possible tonight. That could be creative, that can be dynamic, but Caleb still has to deliver the football. He still has to be able to get rid of the football. If he's holding the ball forever like he did last year and taking bad sacks and everything else, then it's just going to be SOB. It's going to be same old Bears. But the crowd's going to be important too on Sunday. The Lions need the fan support. And I understand. There's a lot of angry fans. I'm a little bit surprised at how panicky Lions fans are. But again, we've been waiting for yesterday for forever. And the Lions laid a giant egg. It was just bad. But if that crowd is into it Sunday and it's loud and you know they're going to be amped up to beat Ben Johnson and, you know, not drop to 0-2 in the division. And let's be honest, the last 2 years, the Bears have played well at Ford Field. Lions escaped 2 years ago against Justin Fields on the Hutch strip sack, and they escaped last year on Thanksgiving Day in a game that the Bears were driving and just had that awful clock management, or else the Lions were in trouble. Lions can play better against Chicago at home, and I expect them to this weekend. All right, Robert Porcher going into Lions Hall of Fame on Sunday. We will join him, and he will join us tomorrow. This has been a Monday edition of Locked On Lions. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen.